Saturday, 29th of November, 2025 at 1:14 p.m. here in the proper city of Snohomish, Washington, United States of America. Welcome once again to our Cosmic Journey. It is your Devin Design podcast showcasing two turkeys who gobbled up astrology's bad software problem. I don't know. I am designer Jake. He is engineer Trey. Hello, Trey.
Hello, Jake.
You can tell that the intro kind of was thought about for about 30 seconds before I decided to go into it. Then we were just going to wing it.
Yeah. We're still
like a turkey.
From
Wing it.
All of our... It's just going to be like that.
It's going to be one of those things. Happy Thanksgiving if you are in America. If you're not in America, you forgot that it was a holiday. And the reason I know that is because some of my European friends scheduled me for a meeting on Thursday, which is fine. I just went to the library for it because there were screaming kids everywhere, which was a lot of fun, I should say. Today's episode is called The Logs Are In. We will be talking about the user accounts and logging in and setting up accounts, and not only talking about it from a technical standpoint, which will be very short, but also from a design standpoint. What does it mean to design login and design a user table? You as a designer might not think that you're supposed to do that, but I'm here to tell you that you are supposed to do that. But before we get to all of that, we of course start with the check-in question. Mr. Henry, you are a login page. You as a human being are a login page.
Oh dear.
Right? But you want to make sure that only humans are logging in. What is your CAPTCHA?
What's my CAPTCHA?
What is your login CAPTCHA?
My CAPTCHA is the user has to put in their big three, their sun, moon, and rising, and then they have to write a brief description of how that applies to their life. Because any AI is going to fail at this miserably.
Absolutely. Any AI is going to give what Trey would describe as modern garbage that is nothing to do with anything astrological in tradition.
Slop.
AI slop.
AI slop, as the kids call it.
You might see a very tiny bit of AI slop today in the poster for the for the episode.
Where my hand is like...
That AI slop was just there to edit a photo, and I just couldn't be bothered. So that's a different kind of slop than Trey's CAPTCHA slop.
That's human slop.
That's human slop. That's acceptable slop because it comes from me. So I think for me, you would need to play a game where this is a game that I invented over Thanksgiving, which is essentially it's the game of Jenga, except it's not with physical blocks. It's with clues to get somebody to an answer. But the idea is that your answer, if you give a clue that gives somebody the answer, you don't want them to get it. It causes the Jenga tower to fall down. The Jenga tower in our mind, right? The
theater of the mind.
The theater of the mind Jenga tower. You have no idea what I'm talking about. That's totally fine. Trey understands this. But anyways, the idea is that I would make someone play this game. They had to give me 3 successive clues that brought somebody a little bit closer each and every time to an answer. And then I guess in this version of the CAPTCHA, I'm guessing as well to figure out whether you're a human being.
That's a pretty strong bottleneck for a login page.
Pretty strong bottleneck for my login page, for sure. I would also say that, I think AI could probably play this game pretty well, so I don't even think it's a very good CAPTCHA.
Yeah, anyways, but you didn't say it had to be an effective CAPTCHA.
Oh, okay. Good point. So this is a non-effective CAPTCHA that has a huge amount of bottlenecks. Great. Good answers. Good answers, everybody. Mr. Henry, it's been Thanksgiving. We spent a lovely time last night hanging out with our niece and nephew, who we love dearly, played a role-playing game with them. So that was really the priority right now. Delta Green, if you're
interested. Which we had never played before.
Which we never played before. And this is the second role-playing game I ever did. And I thought I did a fine job. I didn't overly silify it, which is kind of
No, you did great. Actually, you did better than I did because it's been so long since I've played as a player.
Thank you.
RPG.
I'll take it. It's on film. So we didn't do a whole lot, but what we did do was the user account table and logging in. So do you want to show it's very easy what we had done with this?
Yeah, this is one of those where what you're going to see is
really what you get.
That's not what I was going to say. What you see here is this is just the sort of tip of the iceberg, basically, of a fair amount of work behind the scenes. But, here we have a create account page. This is exactly what the login page is as well, but you have to start somewhere. You have to create an account before you can log in with that account.
That's true.
And so we have a login page, and that was
it's Pony Loaf. Pony Loaf.
we have a login page, and right now it just sends you back to the default homepage, but it will very shortly, which I'm wiring up now, send you a email verification through our email service that we've recently wired up, and it creates a account on the back end with encryption and all of the fancy, high security stuff that we care about. And
I can show you some of that stuff that
That's the demo.
Thank you. I can show you some of that stuff right here. So not only did we talk about like just creating that page, because Trey said there's a bunch of stuff that's behind the scenes. Well, this is where designers actually need to do a little bit of their, like a job here. And so Trey and I spent a tremendous amount of time, not tremendous, a fair amount of time going through and like, from an OOUX perspective, thinking about the user as an object. And we had created a bunch of so everything down from like line 38 forward was stuff that we had talked about that needed to be captured as part of this, because there's a bunch of mechanisms in place that we have to put there so that we make sure that your data is secure, that if someone is attacking our site, either they have your credentials or they're just kind of blanket attacking us, that we can stop that. That there's also other mechanisms where like we will send you emails for things like your solar return is coming up, you have an interesting transit coming up. And if those emails hard bounce, we should do something with your user account. And these are things that are not thought about until the very end, or probably after you implement these things. Because you just think, I'm creating an account, it should be super easy. Well, there's a bunch of mechanisms that go with that. And here we capture the metadata and the core content that is behind these things. And not only do we capture the things for your security, but we also do the nice thing of being like, we can write a narrative, either generated by the system or by a person, about why your account is locked, so that when you do come to the site and you try to log in, your account is locked. Now we don't just put up some weird thing that says account is locked, and then you have to contact us, but we can actually make it a reasonable user experience. This is why designers need to be thinking about things like the user and thinking about things like create account.
From the engineering side as well, it's not like we plan on implementing every single thing that's in this spreadsheet like from day one, but when you have this as your backup that you can constantly go back to when you're like, okay, we're pulling in the next phase of work, what of these things do we need to pull in now? It's not like this is a punch sheet or something where all of these things have to be ticked off.
No.
It is an understanding of the structure of things so that as we move forward,
you can always see the future.
We can,
because you have to paint a picture for the future to know kind of where you're going today. And
very philosophical.
Truly. And when you paint the picture of like what 2 years in the future looks like, and after you take your first couple steps for 4 months, it will change about what your future is at that point. So you're like, why did I spend all that time painting my picture for 2 years in the future if it's going to change every 4 months? Well, you only know what your next steps are going to be if you know today where your future lays.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get down that path, you're like, there are some things that we made assumptions about, and now we're going to repaint our future.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to do 18 months in order to do 4 months.
Yeah.
It's just, that's the way it is.
Yeah, I think we've talked a lot about engineering silos and design silos and things like that at large companies that we've both worked for in the past. And I think, one of the things that you can really do if you are working in the software industry is to open that door. Like if you work in engineering, like go and find the good designers. And if you work in a organization that's siloed like this, go and find those good designers and bring them into your team. Make them a team member. They
want to be strategic. Well, some of them want to be...
Find the good designers.
Some of them want to be strategic. Some of them, you'll go up to them and it's clear that they don't want to do extra work. Just leave them to the side. Just say, go paint your pretty pictures. But those that actually want to be strategic, invite them in, because unfortunately, designers are usually looking for an invitation. Even though you've put a seat at the table, they don't know that they're invited. So they're not going to bust down your door. So why don't you invite them in? You do you. You be a good steward of like doing right by the user by bringing the designer into conversations if they can have these types of conversations. Because not only is it about the object map and the attributes and the relationships that are on an object, but also what we call the capabilities or the CTAs. And so they also need to be able to go in and like think about like, this is the other thing that Trey and I did. Like, what does it mean to expire an email address? Who can expire an email address? Why would they expire an email address versus like, why does a system bot expire an email address versus an admin? And like, this is like the idea, like I get a hard bounce from Postmark. This is what we're going to use for our email sending, our transactional and our broadcast emails. But an admin might need to just do it just because kind of thing. And we went through all of this and we wrote all of this stuff out. And then we also said, like, we can't do some of this stuff. Like, we can't do it right now, which is why some of it's grayed out. But like, we never, ever, as a group of engineers and designers, think about this. Like, as an admin, I want to set an account as compromised. Why would I want to do that? I need to secure an account data from a potential victim. When we hear that individual user, an email domain has been compromised, like there are trigger events that happen that need there's so much thought that needs to go behind that. That thought hasn't been done yet, but like we don't even usually think about the things we need to think about. At this point.
And there are many ways in which the industry notifies players in the industry who are, have email accounts and things like that. Like, hey, there was a big compromise in this data set and these email addresses were leaked. So if you're seeing increased rates of failed login attempts for these emails, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And you might be like, well, create accounts super easy, but we had create an account like, you can create an account yourself, but we also have the expectation, maybe we need to create an account on behalf of somebody else because we want to make it as frictionless and easy as possible for big time astrologers to come into our platform. It's well worth your time to think about this stuff now because, like, again, we're painting a picture out for what 18 to 24 months is going to look like. Even if we don't do it today, it informs our design decisions and our engineering design decisions in the future, and then we will paint a new picture 4 months from now that will make this look.
Nothing is fixed, but you still have to do the work.
Yeah, Mr. Henry, what should the good viewer do? We kept our promise, like we kept it very short. What should the good viewer do with the rest of their weekend, sir?
Just enjoy the leftovers.
Enjoy the leftovers. I'm sorry that you're getting a little too pudgy around the middle. We all are, but we're going to work on that. We'll all lose it later. We're going to work on that later. Be well, take care, have yourself a lovely Saturday or whatever day you watch this video. We love seeing your face every week, and we're going to see your face again next week. And until then, be well, take care, and goodbye.
Bye.